So, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience with Grow Camera, the prior business. How did you get that company started?
So that was almost an accident. I was working on another side project. I was working on actually automating grow facilities, larger scale cannabis grow facilities. I was writing some software and putting some sensors in a system, and from my time in the satellite industry, I was familiar with a imaging technique that I wanted to make cheap. I wanted to take that imaging technology that people would charge, $30,000 for a lens and just make it cheap. Well, I started looking online, and there was this entire community of people that figured out how to do it and this and that, and I did a patent search and everything. There wasn't a patent for this company or anything. So I just searched for the tech and put it all together and productized it, and it was part of this larger overall big system that I was designing and building. And a friend was in my office one night, and he just got done doing a speech, because we held a lot of conferences and stuff at my old office. And we were sitting there, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Well, the camera's the cool part about it all. Everything else has been done before. Why don't you just spin that off?" So this one tiny component of a larger project got spun off into a product of its own, and from there developed that idea, brought in a couple consultants to help me with UI design, and I spent a few months just coming up with a halfway decent prototype, and that's from there just started that business. And unfortunately, the story of that business is that's almost the entire story. At that point, I was approached by the company that acquired us, Green Grow Technologies, and they gave a pretty good offer just to buy it outright, and I said okay. And that was the entire story of that company. It was just me, and I used consultants for various parts of the project, but it was just a side project that a friend of mine was like, yeah, that should just be its own thing.
Yeah, yeah. That's, I think kind of building up the company, it's just you. Maybe you have some contractors or consultants, and then you sell it. I've got a longtime friend who does that with apps. Mm-hmm. He's a developer, and so he'll use contract developers to help him with various components. But as he's kind of scaling it as he goes to market, he's not only a developer, but he's the customer support person, and so he's just taking calls all day long and way into the night from all around the world, supporting that app just to get it rolling, and then and then he's going to sell it, right? Like he's never going to hire a bunch of people to do that work,
right?
Because that's not what he does. He doesn't build that kind of company. But that's been a transition. Between Grow Camera and Vape-Jet. With Vape-Jet, you are building that you are hiring people. It isn't just a solopreneur type of endeavor.
Right, and actually my strong desire to keep all manufacturing in-house and do a lot of the decisions I've made for Vape-Jet were as a result of the direction that Grow Camera took. I'm not going to sit here and complain about anything, but as a maker, as someone who likes to create things and to see their vision come out into the world, that didn't happen with that product. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm not here going to speculate, but the company that acquired it never ended up manufacturing it.
Mm-hmm.
And for a personality such as mine, that's 90% of the drive behind, no, we will do it. We will make it here in the warehouse. Come on, get down there with a screwdriver. Let's do this.
Yeah. Well, it's surprising how often that does happen, where companies will make strategic purchases or strategic
Mm-hmm.
acquisitions, and then they'll just table the technology or table the process or whatever it is that they just bought. It becomes for you purely kind of a financial play. It's like, okay, well, I got done with that. I learned something, made some money, and yeah, I totally get that though. It's like, well, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You're not necessarily in it just for the financial play. You're putting stuff out in the world. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.